Good morning and welcome to Pilates. We're going to start standing. I'm just going to slightly angle that because I'm like, why are we looking at my reformer so much? There we go. That's a little better. Yes. Okay. So what I want you to do is I want you to line up your feet 100% with each other underneath your pelvis. I want you to, right? So in alignment with your hip joint, which is here, not out here, here. Yeah. I want you to pick something eye level, look at it. Press down through the center of your foot, out through the top of your head. Notice how that starts to create a tone in the legs, a tone in the core. And we're just going to breathe a little bit here. Inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Get a little width in the ribs on your inhale, narrowing on the exhale. And if you relax through the shoulder girdle, you will notice the arms kind of float away from the body on the inhale and float towards the body on the exhale, but maybe your shoulder girdle isn't relaxed. So let's give it a little bit of a relaxing move here. So I want you to just bring the back of your hands together and turn the palms forward as you take the arms back. So basically the back of the hand is leading this movement. Your hands stay about hip height. We'll just do one more of these and then we're going to go to one arm, and you're just going to soften your knees, let your body turn as you lead the one hand around you, breathing. Two more here. Last one. And let's go back, go to your other arm. Across and back. Does one side feel smoother, a little more ease in it than the other? Mine does, because I have one shoulder that's more happy than the other. But as I work, it starts a little softer. One more here. Now, we're just going to go back to our basic breath. So, right, pick something eye level in front of you. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. And notice if there's a little bit more freedom through the shoulder girdle, so the arms float away from the body a bit more. On your inhale, and more easily kind of drop back down again. Now let's amp up that arm movement. Inhale, lift, exhale, drop. Get the core a little bit more engaged. Two more here. Last one. All righty. Standing imprint just to get the low back moving this morning. So bring your hands to the front of your thighs, little bend in the knees, straight line from your head to your tail. Inhale to imprint, exhale neutral. Imprint and neutral. Imprint and neutral. Little pressure in your hands into your legs if you can't get that low back movement. Notice it's just my low back moving. It's not my whole spine. One more here. And then I want you to let go of your legs. We're going to do a little bit of drawing figure eights just to get the shoulders and hips moving a little better. So I want you to take your feet to about shoulder distance apart. Start with your thumb and start to carve a figure eight in front of you. Now, as you go to one side, your opposite heel will lift. And I want you to see how big you can make this today. Can you get all the way down to the floor and back up again? What is restricting that for you right now? Last one of these. And then we're going to take it to carving with your pinky. So same hand. See if you can find that figure eight shape. I guess it's more of an infinity sign. Yeah. Once you find it, how big can you make it? Can you get all the way down to the floor and back up again? How far behind you can you go? Doesn't have to be fast. Last one of these. And then we're going to try and find it on the other side. So starting with your thumb, draw a figure eight, right? Your heel is allowed to lift. Your knees, of course, can bend. Otherwise, coming across the body. I don't know about you, but I can't get to the floor. Yeah. How big can you go? What is restricting it for you? Alrighty, let's do that with the pinky on this side. So, right now, right, This is my interesting shoulder. Ah, there's the figure 8. Right, so sometimes you got to kind of play with it to find it. The pinky line is a little more confusing for her body because it's the back line of the arm. It's part of our arm we don't use as much in daily activities. And last one of those. Let's bring our feet back to within the pelvis. Pick something to look at, eye level. Couple of shoulder shrugs, just inhale up, exhale down. 2 more of those up, easing it down. Last one up and easing down. Now we're gonna go to a little bit of balance work. So what I want you to do is bring one knee forward. Now, make sure the leg you're standing on, you haven't locked out the knee and hip. I know some people talk about doing that. I don't want you to do that. I want the proprioceptors in your feet, balancing mechanism to work for you. Pick your foot up. We're going 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to do the other side. Bring your knee forward. Make sure you're not locking out the hip and knee. Pick your foot up. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You might notice the standing leg is a little wobbly. Guess what? That's your proprioception figuring things out. Because I could stand here and hardly move that at all. That's not my point, because I locked out my hip and knee to make that happen. Let's do this one more time on each side. So right, bring one knee forward, other side. Make sure you're not pushing that hip forward or locking the knee back. Lift up your foot, and we're going 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. Are you breathing? 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to do the other side. Bring the knee forward. Make sure you're not locking out. Lift it up. And 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's go down to the floor. We're going to head down to a little bit of rotational breathing right away. So you're going to go onto your side. You're going to have your knees bent and have them in front of you. Now, part of what's tricky about working out by yourself, and I'm actually just going to change the angle on that just slightly. There we go. Is that it's really hard to figure out a straight line from your head to your tail when you lay on your side. So part of what will help you is, quite often we have our hips a little bit forward. So right now, I want you to notice if you feel like you're resting right on that greater trochanter, that lumpy bit of your thigh bone, well, right? And if you are, your pelvis is slightly in front of your shoulders. So I just want you to pick your bum up, slide it back slightly, and then you'll notice you can have your weight a little bit more on the outside of the thigh and a little less on that greater trochanter, right? That's where we want to be. Now remember, when we're here, we want to reach the top sit bone away from the top of our head to get the side of our waist off the floor. And you're going to inhale, lift your top hand to the ceiling, turn to look at it, exhale, turn your ribs back, keep reaching the top knee forward, inhale here, and exhale, come back to where you started. Inhale, point at the ceiling, turn to look at your hand. Inhale, hold it. Exhale, coming forwards. Inhale, point at the ceiling. Turn to look at your hand. Exhale, turn your ribs backwards. Inhale, hold. Exhale, coming forwards. One more here. Inhale, point at the ceiling. Turn to look at your hand. Exhale, turn your ribs backwards. Inhale, hold. And exhale, coming forwards. Let's do that on the other side. You'll notice I'm doing a lot of rotational warm up today. And that's because lots of us have been perhaps doing swinging sports like golf or tennis, or perhaps you're out in your garden, and keeping those rotational aspects of our body happy is a fantastic thing when we're in that place. So, right, weight is more on the outside of the thigh than the greater trochanter. Side of the waist is a little bit off the floor because that top sit bone's reaching away from the top of your head. Top arm is reach forward. You can inhale, pick it up to the ceiling, turn to look at it. Exhale, turn back. Keep looking at your hand because part of her neck is part of her spine. Yep. And coming forward. Inhale, point at the ceiling. Turn to look at your hand. Exhale, turn back. We're trying to get a nice even spiral from head to tail. Inhale. Exhale, coming forwards. Inhale, point at the ceiling. Turn to look at your hand. Exhale, turn your ribs backwards. Inhale. Top knee is still reaching forward. Exhale, coming forward. Two more here. Inhale, up. Exhale, go back. Inhale, hold. Exhale, coming forward. One more. Inhale, up. Turn to look at it. Exhale, go back. Inhale, hold. And exhale, forward. We're going to go onto our hands and knees to do a little bit of cat stretch. So I want your hands under your shoulders, your knees under your hips. Remember, if your wrists have a tendency to be sore, have your weight up on your knuckles with your thumbs pointing away from your kneecaps. Back of the head matches the back of the shoulders. Take an inhale to prepare. Exhale, point your tail down at the floor. Scoop your back around, look back at your knees. Inhale, hold. Exhale, come back to where your back is a straight line from head to tail. Take an inhale. Exhale, rounding tail to head to find a shape like the letter C. Inhale, hold it. Exhale, flattening back out again. Inhale. Exhale, curling around. Inhale, hold it. Exhale, flattening back out again. Let's do it on a 2 breath. Exhale, round. Inhale, flatten. Exhale, round. Inhale, flatten. One more of those. Round and flatten. Now let's make it an undulation. So as you round, shift your weight towards your fingertips. As you flatten, shift towards your heels. Trying to get a wave going through that spine. Exhale, round. Inhale, flatten. One more here, round. And flatten. While we're here, a little wag of the tail side to side. Breathing. Don't care how you breathe on this. Just helps with the side body a little bit. All righty, let's go on to our backs. Now, we're going to start with a hip roll here today, which is an exercise where you're lifting your butt up off the floor. So you don't want anything extra under your head. Quite often I will encourage you to do that to help your neck and shoulders be happy, but not right now, because we don't want to end up with the collarbone in our throat. So, right, just for a moment, without anything extra in your head, are you in neutral? Yeah, is your neck up? Are your ribs down? Is your low back light and your pelvis heavy and your feet light? If you got all that already, you've found neutral. We'll double check it again later. We're going to start this exercise with an imprint. So you're going to take an inhale. You're going to exhale, imprint your low back, press into your feet, and roll up, reaching your knees towards your toes. Inhale here, and exhale, rolling back down again. Take an inhale. Exhale, imprint, roll up, press your feet into the floor. Is your big toe still on the floor when you're at the top? Take an inhale and exhale, rolling back down again. 2 more of those. Exhale as you roll up. Inhale, exhale, rolling back down again. 1 more here. Exhale as you roll up. Inhale and exhale as you roll back down again. Now, if you like something extra under your head, I'm using a garden kneeler that I've cut in half, right? Just because I use them for other people too, and right, then I can have 2 out of 1. right? And that's a nice lift to just get it that my chin is not tipping up to the ceiling and I'm not feeling a lot of tension in the back of my neck. If you don't feel that, you don't need this. I have a history of neck issues, a couple of rear enders. Life is not cool. And it wasn't me rear ending people, it was them rear ending me. Let's go to a little bit of our shoulder girdle work. So let's bring our hands up in front of our chest and see if we can find neutral through there. So, right, double check the spines in neutral. So pelvis heavy, low back light, ribs heavy. And then while we're at our ribs, draw your attention to your shoulder blades. You're going to bring your fingertips forward towards the ceiling. Feel how the shoulder blades come around the side of the ribs, and then bring the shoulder blades back down again. Inhale forward. This is called protraction. Exhale, come back to where you feel the shoulder blades kiss the floor. Inhale, protract. Exhale, neutral. Now, as the shoulder blades kiss the floor, the collarbones are wide because, right, we want to be nice and wide through that shoulder girdle area. Quite often we end up compressed in the front or the back, and then we end up with neck pain and shoulder pain. When we're here, forward and back to neutral. Now, let's stay in neutral, and we're going to do an arm scissor. You're going to inhale, scissor one hand towards your head, the other towards your leg, and exhale, meet in the middle. Inhale, scissor to the other side, and exhale, meet in the middle. Now, as you're doing this, if you want to just focus on the upper arm bone moving without changing your shoulder girdle, your arm coming towards your head doesn't drop below your temple, and the arm coming towards your leg, that hand doesn't drop below your leg. It'll just help you really work on the purity of that movement. Doesn't mean we can't go bigger, but if our body really understands this, what is that movement of that humerus bone in the shoulder girdle, then when you move the shoulder girdle to move the arm, yeah, we can do that with less problems. Yeah, one more here. Inhale, scissor, and exhale, center. I want you to bring your hands down to the floor beside your body. Your palms can face up, down, in, whatever feels most comfortable through the shoulder girdle. And we're going to go to our head nod. So I just want you to sense the weight of the back of your head on the floor. Keep it heavy as you do a little nod, and then release. Inhale, tiny nod. Exhale, release. Reaching the top of the head away from the top of the shoulders. And release. Inhale, nod. And release. Now let's go back to the shoulder girdle. So lift your arms up, palms are faced in. Find that place where your upper back and upper chest feels equally wide. And then we're going to go to a shoulder shrug here. Inhale up and exhale down, because ideally our shoulder girdle can move. It's part of the movement of our arms. And our shoulder girdle is our collarbones and our shoulder blades and how they relate to our rib cage and upper arm bone. Yeah, inhale up, exhale down. One more here, up and down. So part of that, we're working on fluidity of that movement. And we're also just trying to get our body to understand neutral shoulder from that perspective. Let's take our hands behind our head. We're going to our ab prep, folks. So elbows are where your ribs and shoulders are in neutral. So if you take your elbows straight sideways, you'll feel the shoulder blades kind of pinch together a little bit and the chest come forward, right? If your elbows are all the way on the floor, if you pick them up a little bit, you'll notice that between the shoulder blades starts to drop down towards the floor and your shoulder blades get wider. And that's where we want them to be. Keep your head heavy in your hands. Keep your pelvis heavy on the floor and the low back light. You're going to inhale, take a tiny nod. Exhale, round through the rib cage to come up. Inhale, hold. And exhale, lay back down again. Inhale, nod. Exhale, soften through the front of the ribs to round up between your shoulder blades and your belly button. It's pressing into the floor here. And exhale, come back down again. Inhale, nod. Exhale, rounding up. Pelvis is still heavy. And back down again. Inhale, nod. Exhale, curl. Inhale, hold. And exhale, back down again. Now, let's try 3 on the 2 breath. Try not to imprint. So it is not a crunch, folks. Inhale, nod. Exhale, curl. Inhale down. Exhale, curl. Inhale down. One more up and down. Did you stay in neutral? Now let's do a little bit of a chest stretch here. So drop your elbows sideways to the floor and just gently rock your knees to one side and then the other. And you'll notice as you do this, you get a little bit of a tensional pull through the chest. You might get a pull through your hips too if they're feeling tight today, maybe something through your ribs or your low back. We'll just do one more to each side here. And then let's flip on over onto our front so that we can do a little bit of breaststroke press. So, right, you're gonna have your hands beside your head, your legs are close together, your kneecaps are pointing straight at the floor. Now, close together is if your low back doesn't bother you. If your low back's bugging you, having your legs close together, have them slightly further apart. Now, right, when you're here, you're on the tip of your nose, the middle of your breastbone, and you want to just gently press the top of the foot a little bit into the floor. That creates some tone in the legs and the lower torso. You're going to inhale, slide your shoulders away from your ears. Exhale, use your back to lift your upper chest away from the floor. Now, you're still looking down at the floor, though, and come back down again. Inhale, slide your shoulder blades. Exhale, lifting up as you come up. The back of your neck is still long. It's not bent. And come back down again. There's a little bit of a curve to it, but not a big one. Exhale as you come up and down. Let's do one more of these. Inhale, slide your shoulder blades. Exhale, lift. Inhale, hold. And exhale down. 2 breaths. Inhale, up. Exhale down. 2 more of those. Up and down. 1 more here. Up and down. And I want you to take your arms alongside your body, palms facing the ceiling. You're going to inhale, turn your palms inwards to face your thighs, opening your collarbones. Exhale, lifting up. Inhale, hold. And exhale back down again. Inhale, turn the palms inwards. We're looking for that place where the upper back and upper chest are equally wide. When we do that, then exhale, use your back muscles to lift. Inhale, hold. Exhale, back down again. Inhale, turn your palms in. Exhale, lift. Is the top of your foot still pressing into the floor? And back down again. Inhale, turn your palms in. Exhale, lift. And down. Last arm position, hands under your forehead. You're going to inhale. Slide your shoulders away from your ears. They'll feel like they're going wide out into your armpit. That, like the shoulder blades do, that is normal because that's what they're going to do when your elbows are where they are right now. Then you're going to exhale, use your back muscles, lift on up. Inhale, hold, and exhale down. Inhale, open the collarbones wide. Exhale, lifting up. Inhale, hold, exhale down. Now you can do it like I am, where I'm lifting my head away from my hands. But if you want to make it hard, lift the arms with you. If your neck and shoulders are sore, just lift your head away from your hands. 1 more here. Inhale, hold. Exhale, down. 3 more on the 2 breath. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Last one, up and down. Let's just press back into our shell stretch. So, right, you're just going to lift on up. Sit back over your heels, round out your back. Now, right, if you have a really sore hip or knee that is not comfortable in this position today, I want you to just lay on your back and hug your knees into your chest. I always play with a little bit of a side-to-side sway in this particular position, right? You could sway through your hips, your shoulders, or your head. We'll take 1 more nice deep breath here. And then we're going to do our 100. So, right, just going to go down onto your back. If you like something extra under your head, it's a good idea to have it under your head. To start this exercise, even if you're going to lift your head up off the floor. You're going to take a moment when you get on your back and just go, am I in neutral? So, right, does your pelvis feel heavier than your feet? Is your low back lighter than your pelvis on the floor? Are your ribs heavier than your low back, right? So feet light, pelvis heavy, low back light, ribs heavy. If you got that, you're in neutral. Another thing I want to check on before we do the 100 is let's just check and see whether or not the back of your ribs are moving when you're breathing. Ideally, after all the movement we've already done, that is part of what's happening. So how do you know whether or not it's moving? I want you to pay attention to the part of your back between your shoulder blades and your belly button. And as you inhale, ideally, there's a little bit more pressure into the floor through that part of your back. It's subtle. And then as you exhale, there's a little less pressure. If you can find this movement through the rib cage, as well as other movements we do through our rib cage in this class, you'll find it on a regular basis. It helps with neck and low back pain, because part of the reason why we get neck and low back pain is our rib cage stops moving efficiently. Let's move on to our 100. So, right, lots of modifications. Neck is sore, leave your head down, low back sore, leave your feet down. I'm calling it like you're lifting boats. You're gonna take an inhale to prepare. You're gonna exhale, find your imprint. Remember, bum muscles are not part of this exercise. Then you're gonna lift one leg at a time up to your tabletop position if you're lifting them. Inhale, nod, exhale, rounding up, and go in, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 10, sniff. Blow, 2, 3, 4, 20. You can straighten the legs if you want to make it harder. Out, 2, 3, 4, 30, in. Out, 40, in. Out, 50, in. Out, 60, in. Out, 70, in. Out, 80, in. Out, 90, in. Out, 2, 3, 4, 100. Inhale, bend the knees if the legs are straight. And let's just come on down, hug your knees in towards your chest. Little side to side rock here. Now, if you didn't lift your leg, you can still rock with your feet on the floor. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, if you have a tendency towards sore hips and you're doing this rock, don't have your knees right tight together. Remember, if you're doing that, it just puts a little bit of pressure into the hip joint and starts to bring the thigh bone a little bit front on that hip joint. And that's part of the reason why we have a hard time moving through our hips quite often, is the femur is just not seated heavily into the joint. Now, from here, let's just come up to a seated position. And we're gonna do a little bit of half roll back. And what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna have your legs bent. You're gonna take your arms out parallel to the floor, and then we're gonna try and find a round back from here to there. So I want you to pull your pubic bone towards your belly button, reach out through the back of the ribs, soften in the front of the rib cage. You're kind of looking down at your legs here. Now, take an inhale. Exhale, rock away from your legs, opening your hip joint. Inhale, rock forward towards your legs. Exhale, rock back. And inhale, rock forward. Now, the goal as we're doing this is to keep your rack round the whole time. So you're thinking pubic bone to belly button. You're feeling a nice sense of compression in the front line of the body to create tension in the back line of the body, because we're getting a little bit of a stretch through the back line of our body doing this. 2 more here. Exhale, rock back. Inhale, rock forward. Exhale, rock back. And inhale, rock forward. We're going to do 3 slow roll downs today. So, right, you're going to have your arms out again. Find your C curve. Now, part of the trick of doing this and keeping the movement smooth is that as you go back, you feel like you're pushing through your heels a little bit. You're going to take an inhale to prepare. Exhale, roll backwards on your bum. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now, when we go to come up, if you have a sore back, roll onto your side to come up. You can always grab one knee and put towards your chest and use that to help you come up. Or if you can just come up easily, do that too. Let's do this 2 more times. So find your C curve again, drop your shoulders, take an inhale. Exhale, rolling back. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And we'll come right back up again. And once you're back up, find your C curve again. Drop your shoulders, take an inhale. Exhale, rolling back. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to stay down here. We're going to do a little bit of single leg circle. If you like something extra under your head, ideally it's under your head right now. And I want you to have both legs at your feet within the width of your body. Find your neutral spine again. And if you want to make this hard, lift your arms up in front of your chest with your palms facing each other. I'm going to let mine rest on the floor today. You're going to bring one leg up to tabletop or take it to a straight leg. Now, before we move this leg today, I want you to notice your other foot. Are you pushing it really hard on the floor? And does the pelvis feel light, or is the pelvis heavy and that foot light? Ideally, the foot on the floor stays light the whole time. We're going to go inside to outside with this circle. Inhale to start your circle, exhale to finish it. Remember, this is about not wiggling the hips around. That's 3, 4. So it doesn't have to be a big circle. There's 5. Let's go the other way, outside to inside. 2. So if your circle's the size of a loonie and you're not hula dancing, you are doing the exercise. There's 4 and 5. And then I want you to place your foot down. Lift your other leg up to tabletop or go to straight leg, and you're only going to go to straight leg if this is a comfortable position for you. Is the foot on the floor light? And we're going inside to outside. Inhale to start your circle. Exhale to finish it. 3, 4, and 5. And reversing, going outside to inside. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And place your foot back down on the floor. We're going to come off our back. A great way to come up, remember, is you can bring one knee into your chest. Pull yourself up if coming off your back is challenging for you. We're going to go to a little bit of spine twist. So, right, I'm sitting with a cross leg because I'm up on a platform. If you want to, and you can sit up straight with your legs straight out and tight together, feel free to be there. Yoga blocks are beautiful to help you be in neutral here too, because remember, we want to be sitting up straight for this exercise. You can either bring your hands to your ribs, or you can take your arms out to the side. Now, if you're taking your arms out to the side, I want you to look straight forward, eye level, and I want you to wiggle your fingertips. And if you can't see your fingertips in your peripheral vision, your arms are too far back and your shoulders have started to roll forward, yeah? So, right, we're gonna use 3 inhales to turn today. Remember, the pelvis doesn't move on this exercise. So you're going in, 2, 3, exhale, center. Now the arms are going along for the ride if you have them out to the side. Your head turns and you look at your hand. If you can't see that back hand, guess what? You're moving your arms, right? It shouldn't be on your peripheral vision. Should be fairly close to the center of the eye that's closest to it. In, 2, 3, exhale, center. In, 2, 3, exhale, center. So when I go to the right, that hand's right in the center of my right eye. When I go to the left, it's right in the center of my left eye. Oh, last one here. Alrighty, we're gonna go to a little bit of spine stretch forward. So, right, legs are either straight with your feet shoulder distance apart, or you're in diamond for this. You don't want to cross leg because it makes your pelvis kind of twist. And right, we're trying to get a little more balanced in our Pilates work. We're not trying to add twist. Regardless of whichever leg position you've chosen, I want you to bring your hands to the front of your legs. I want you to imagine your back's on the wall behind you, on a nice width through your collarbones. Take an inhale. Exhale, start with your head, little nod, and then soften through the front of the ribs. It's like you're going over a railing that's just above your belly button. You're going to inhale here, and exhale, come all the way back up again. Take an inhale. Exhale, start with your head, rounding forward, pull your belly button in and up. Hands can slide towards your ankles, but your elbows are still bent. And exhale, come all the way back up again. Take an inhale. Exhale, rounding forward. Inhale. Exhale, back up again. One more here. Exhale, rounding forward. So ideally, your low back isn't changing much here. And come back up again. Ideally, it doesn't change at all. Let's do it on the 2 breath. Exhale, go down. Inhale, come up. Exhale, start with your head to go down. Inhale, start at the bottom to come up. Exhale, down. Inhale, up. One more here. Exhale, down. And inhale, up. Bring your arms out so they're parallel to the floor. Collarbones are wide when you're sitting up. Same exercise. Take an inhale. Exhale, start with your head round forward. Reach over your feet, not to them. Inhale, up. Exhale, scoop around. Inhale, up. Exhale, rounding. Inhale, up. One more here, rounding. And up. And let's just do a slow roll down to get onto our back again. So I want you to bend your legs, reach your arms out, find your C curve, take an inhale, and exhale, slowly rolling down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now, when you're down, if you like something extra under your head, you're going to pop it under your head. And we're going to do a little bit of core work, staying in neutral today, because I really want to talk to you guys about how to get that femur head to sit in your hip joint when you're doing hip flexion. Yeah, the hip flexion is bringing your knee in towards your chest. So just to make the core work a little harder though, we're not going to have our arms on the floor. So you're going to either have your hands crossed on your chest or your arms up in front of your chest, straight arms, finding neutral shoulder if your arms are up, finding neutral spine regardless. So right pelvis heavy, low back light, and ribs heavy. And are your feet light? Yeah. Now from here, all I want you to do is take an inhale and exhale. Slowly lift one leg up to that tabletop position, right? Right angle, the knee and the hip. Take an inhale. Let's take it back down again. Now this time when you lift it up, I want you to imagine right at the front of your hip joint that you're back pedaling, almost like you're reeling in a fishing line. If you're a fisher, that will make sense to you. Fisher person, yeah? So you're going to take an inhale and you're going to exhale, slowly lift the leg to tabletop and think about that back pedaling kind of right at the hip socket. Inhale and exhale, slowly put the foot back down again. Inhale, exhale. Can you feel that sense of backpedaling? If you find it, it helps the femur head drop more heavily into the joint and come back down again. Let's do 2 more on this side. Exhale, slowly lift. Inhale. Exhale, slowly down. Is your other foot still light on the floor? Exhale, slowly lift. Inhale. And exhale, slowly back down again. Now let's go over to the other side. Take an inhale. Exhale, slowly lift. Inhale. Exhale, slowly down. Inhale. Find that kind of backpedaling feeling as you lift the thigh bone up over your knee, your hip joint. And then reach your knee away from you to put the foot down. Take an inhale. Exhale. Slowly lift. Inhale. Exhale, slowly down. One more here. Exhale, slowly lift. Inhale. And exhale, slowly down. Let's rest our arms. Let the knees rock side to side. And we're going to do an add-on, and we're going to see if we can apply that backpedaling idea to it as well. So I want you to stop with your knees pointing at the ceiling, reestablish your neutral. So right feet light, pelvis heavy, low back light, ribs heavy. Arms can either be crossed on your chest or up in front of your chest. And if they're up in front of your chest, so that straight arm position, you're trying to find that beautiful open collarbone again. Now, you're going to take an inhale And exhale, slowly lift one leg up to your tabletop position. Take an inhale here. Now you're going to exhale, straighten your leg. As you bend it, can you feel the back pedaling idea again? Exhale, straighten. Inhale, bend. Bring your knee over your hip. Can you find that back pedaling idea? Exhale, straighten. Inhale, bend. Is your back still in neutral? Exhale, straighten. And inhale, bend, and place your foot down. Let's do this on the other side. Take an inhale. Exhale, slowly lift up. Inhale. Exhale, extend. Inhale, bring that knee over your hip. Exhale, straighten. As you bring the knee in, are you finding that back pedaling idea? Exhale, straighten. Inhale, bend. Two more here. Is your other foot on the floor still light, or are you pushing it hard into the floor to balance you? If your core is not working as hard as it could, one more here. And then let's put your foot down, rest your arms down, little side to side rock through the legs. We're going to do a little shoulder bridge to make the front of the hip feel a little happier. Right when we need a lot of love in the front of the hip, it will stiffen up a lot when we do that. Yeah. So we're going to get rid of anything extra you have under your head, because we're going to be lifting our butts up. You want your legs bent, your feet within the width of your pelvis, right? A great way to find the foot position is, let's just for a moment start with our legs right tight together, our feet together. Now lift your toes up off the floor, separate them, and put the ball of your foot back down on the floor. Now, right, keep that on the floor, lift your heels up, take them apart from each other, just so they line up with your toes and the ball of your foot, and put them back down again. And that will pretty much get you right in alignment with your hip joint and your sit bones, right? Our sit bones are what we ache when we ride a bicycle. We get that lined up. It just does a nice accuracy for this exercise. So, right, feet are light, pelvis is heavy to begin with. We're going to keep our back straight this time. You're going to take an inhale. Exhale, press your feet on the floor. The pelvis will get light, and you're going to lift up, stacking your knees over your ankles. You're going to inhale, hold that, and exhale, put your bum back down again. Inhale, exhale, press your feet on the floor and lift, stacking your knees over your ankles. Inhale, hold, and exhale down. Let's just do one more of those. Exhale, lift. Inhale, hold, and exhale down. Now we're going to do an add-on. I'm going to give you three options today. One is when your pelvis is up, lifting one heel at a time. Two is lifting one leg at a time up to tabletop. The third one, right, each one gets more challenging, is the third one is you're just going to barely lift one foot at a time up off the floor. The closer your foot is to the floor, the harder this exercise is, because what we're working on is not shifting or twisting the pelvis. So, right, heels, tabletop, barely off the floor. We're going to do 3 lifts on each side, alternating legs. So find your neutral again. Take an inhale. Exhale, press your feet on the floor and lift. Inhale, lift one foot. Exhale, put it down. Inhale, lift your other foot. Exhale, put it down. First foot again, and down. Is your pelvis staying level? And down. Is it still at the top? And down. Last foot, and down. Take an inhale. Exhale, put your bum on the floor. Let's just straighten out our legs, do a little side to side, pull in and out of the knees there. Because if your hamstrings need a little love, this is a good thing to do to make them happier. Well, alrighty, let's flip onto our tummies, do a little bit of work on our fronts. And we're going to start with our one leg kick, because it's a great way to open out the front of the hip again. So, right, we're going to either be down on our bellies with our hands under our foreheads, or you could be up on your elbows, with your elbows right under your shoulders. The tricky thing about this body position is the back has a tendency to want to sag towards the floor. And what you need to do is find the tissue right where your thigh and your butt meet to help prevent that. Collarbones are wide. This is a double knee bend. You're going to inhale to prepare, bend your leg, pull your toe towards your butt cheek, bounce it out a bit, pull your heel in, straighten your leg. Other leg goes toe, heel, straighten. First leg again, toe, heel, straighten, breathe. Toe, heel, straighten. Toe, heel, straighten. Exhale, exhale, inhale. Exhale, exhale, inhale. Exhale, exhale, inhale. Toe, heel, straighten. Toe, heel, straighten. One more here. Toe, heel, straighten. Last one. Toe, heel, and straighten. Come down onto your belly. Hands are under your forehead. We're going to do a little single leg extension today, which is the one where we're just keeping our legs straight and lifting a little bit off the floor. Now, here's the fun thing. People always want to go too high in this exercise because they think it's about getting your leg off the floor. What it's about is just finding the range of motion that your leg has without your pelvis changing, which is extremely small. It's like somewhere between 15 and 20 degrees, which is really, really small. So the front of your thigh will not come off the floor. So hands are under your forehead. Find that beautiful open collarbone we've been working on. Belly buttons in a little bit to help support the low back. Now, another way you could think about that is just pull your feet bone forward towards the floor a little bit. And you'll notice that causes a slight tensioning in the abdominals as well. Yeah. Now, all we're going to do from here is inhale to prepare. Exhale, reach out one foot and lift up a little bit. Inhale, hold. Exhale, down. Inhale, pubic bone forward. Exhale, lift. What we're looking for is a sense of compression right where your thigh and your butt meet. And down. Inhale, pubic bone forward. Exhale, lift. And down. One more here. Looking for that compression right at your thigh where your thigh and your butt meet. And down. Other side. Inhale, pubic bone forward. Exhale, reach out your foot and lift. And down. Exhale, lift. You feel the compression where your thigh and your butt meet. And release. Inhale. Exhale, looking for the compression where your thigh and your butt meet. And down. Two more. Exhale, lift. Inhale, hold. And down. One more. Lift. Hold. And down. Relax. Let your hips rock side to side for a moment. We're going to go back. And we're going to do it on the two breath. So let's pause in the middle. Make sure your collarbones are nice and wide. Pubic bones pulled forward a little bit. You're going to inhale to prepare. Exhale, reach out one foot to lift. Inhale down. Exhale, lift. Inhale down. And you're sensing that compression where your thigh and your butt meet. And down. Two more. Lift. Down. Last one. Lift. And down. Other side. Exhale, lift. Inhale down. Two. Down. Are you sensing the compression? Because that's the most important thing. Doesn't matter how high the leg lifts. Can you feel the compression where your thigh and your butt meet? Exhale, lift. Inhale down. Last one. Alrighty, let's go to our shell stretch. And if you're like me, one side I have to kind of say, hello, wake up. Work a little better. Let's do a little side to side rock here again. Remember, you could always be on your back for this. Hugging your knees in towards your chest. But if you're prone to sciatica, that on your back, hugging your knees into your chest isn't necessarily a great move. It depends on how your sciatica manifests. So just listen to what your body's telling you. If it says that's a bad idea, don't do it either. So, right, we're going to do some side leg work. We're going to start with the kick, because that'll help the hamstrings feel happier after all that business we did on them earlier. So you want to be on your side with your legs at a 45-degree angle to your torso. Remember, easy way to find that, get your body along the back line of the mat, and then just angle your feet forward so they meet the front edge of the mat, and that'll give you your 45, right? Because I'm hinged at my hip joint here. Now, right, I want to have a sense of reach out that top sit bone. So the side of my waist is not fully collapsed on the floor, but I don't want to lift so much that I'm lifting the ribs. You're going to lift your top leg up. You're going to kick it forward twice, going inhale, inhale, exhale, point your foot and pull it behind you. Forward, in, exhale, point your foot and pull it behind you. In, exhale, reach back. In, exhale, reach back. Foot is flexed as you come forward and pointed as you go back. You're really thinking about reaching the top of your head and your sit bone away from each other. That helps it be isolated to the leg, that tension along the back line of the body. Now, for me, I'm tightening my bum on this side, so I get a stretch in my bum too. That's not a bad thing. In, exhale, reach back. One more here. In, and reach back. Straight line from your head to your feet. Now, right when you're here, remember, you don't want to be right on the very apex of that ASIS point. You want to be slightly rolled forward. So you're a little bit on the front edge of it, right? The side you're laying on. You're going to lift your top leg up, flex your foot, bring it down, point your foot, reach up, flex your foot, bring it down, point your foot. Now your hand can be on the floor for balance, but if you're going to put your hand down, let's be on your fingertips. It just makes it easier to get that top shoulder in neutral. If you lay the hand flat, that will roll forward on you. And of course, we're trying to have both kneecaps pointing forward. Inhale up, exhale down. One more here, up and down. We're going to do circles. We're just going to do 5 of them today. So lift up just a little bit off the floor and go 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure it goes behind you. Other direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Rest your leg down. Staggered leg. You're going to lift your top leg up. Exhale. Lift your bottom leg to meet it. Slowly take it down. That's a long exhale. Inhale. Lift the top leg. Exhale. Squeeze and slowly lower. Inhale. Lift. Exhale. Squeeze and down. Inhale. Lift. Exhale. Squeeze and down. Now, notice I'm not lifting my legs super high because I'm trying to minimize the pelvis movement on this. So I want to sense that the side of my waist still has a slight gap away from the floor. One more here. Let's do double leg. Exhale, lift. 2, 3, 4. We're doing 5 of those today. Alrighty, let's do this series on the other side. So, right, straight line from your head to your feet. Flex your feet, bring them forward, right? There's this hinge at my hip joint. You're a little bit forward on that pelvis, right? We're not rolled back. You're going to lift your top leg up, kick it forward twice. Going in, exhale, pull it behind you. And inhale, exhale, pull it behind you. Now, part of what we're working on too is trying to keep your leg the same height away from the floor the whole time. The tendency is when we take our leg back, it's either going to want to kind of fly up or drop down. We don't want either. We're trying to keep it the same height because then that gives you a nice accurate opening in the front of the hip. In, exhale, reach back. 2 more here. In, and reach. Last one. In, and exhale, reaching back. Straight line from your head to your feet. Hips are stacked again, right? Side of the waist is off the floor because that top leg is reaching away from the top of your head. You're going to lift it up, flex your foot, bring it down, point your foot, reach up, flex your foot, bring it down, point your foot. Inhale as you go up, exhale as you come down. Inhale as you go up, and exhale as you come down. Inhale up, exhale down, inhale up, and exhale down. Circles, lifting up, going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Reversing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Take it down. Did you breathe while you were doing that? Let's do our staggered leg. You're going to inhale, lift your top leg. Exhale, lift the bottom leg. Slowly take it down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, squeeze and down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, squeeze and down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, slowly down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, squeeze. Controlling it down. Up, squeeze and down. Just one more of those. Up, squeeze and down. Double leg lift. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Good, rest. Let's just pop onto our backs. If you like something extra under your head, pop it under your head. I don't generally need one at this point in the class, so I'm not going to grab it. I want you to take your feet to the width of your mat. We're just going to do a little bit of a release on the hips after that. So you're just going to drop one knee into the middle, pick it up, other side, drop it into the middle, pick it up. Notice the difference between the two legs. Maybe both sides feel 100% symmetrical. Or if you're like me and one side's a little tighter than the other, the one side it feels like, okay, that's nice. And then the other side is like, oh, that's interesting. Getting a little bit of a stretch. One more here. Alrighty, we need to do a little bit of swan dive. So we do our bigger back extension before we call it a class. So coming onto your belly, you're going to take your hands beside your head. I want your legs apart, but I want your feet within the width of your mat. Now, I want you to just start with your knees pointing straight down at the floor for a moment. And then I want you to just find the muscles in your bum that pull your heels towards the middle a little bit. Now, they're not going to point 100% at each other. All we're doing is taking the knees from pointing straight down to pointing out a little bit. So let the knees roll back down towards the floor again. And then find that little bit of a turnout. And you'll notice when you do that little bit of a turnout, there's a tensioning. Well, actually, compression is a better word, where your thigh and your butt meet. Yeah. And that's where a bunch of the tissue that turns our knees out live. Now you're going to try and keep that compression there as we do our back extension. You're going to inhale, slide your shoulders away from your ears. You're going to exhale, come up onto your elbows, and then use your arms and reach out your toes. Feel how that makes your bum work harder. Take an inhale, and exhale, come back down again. Inhale, slide your shoulder blades. Exhale, coming up. Now, if you're flexible enough this morning to come to straight arms, feel free to go there. My body doesn't want to go there right now. It sometimes does. Inhale, slide your shoulder blades. Exhale, up. Inhale, do you feel a stretch on the front of the legs or the hips? And back down again, maybe your belly. Inhale, slide your shoulder blades. Exhale, extending up. Inhale, hold. Exhale, down. One more here. Exhale as you come out. Inhale, hold. And exhale, down. And let's just press back into our shell stretch. So, right, either sitting back on your heels or laying on your back, hugging your chest into your knees into your chest, or your chest into your knees. I don't know how you would do that. Well, not on your back. You could do that sitting. One more nice deep breath here. And my clock says I've run out of time to play with you folks today. So I'm going to say thank you for coming and hanging out with me and doing some Pilates. Take care. I hope to see you again soon.